My dad has instilled in me since I was a little kid, we do not cheat, and I'm not a cheater. And I feel like that more people should speak up on it. And I feel like I had a platform to do it, so I'm gonna speak up on it. And he got mad about it, but if it's not true, what's there to be mad about?
And I always ask guys about this. If you know that he's been busted, right, and he's used it in the past, why fight him? I mean, this is supposed to be one of the best fighters. Why?
Because I stood up and really wanted 12-week testing, and we wound up getting 10-week testing. Now, the first time we was about to fight, for some reason, it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Couldn't get it done, couldn't get it done, and we're 6.5 weeks away from a fight, and neither one of us have been drug tested once. Now, if I was king of the hill, couldn't nobody fight me without drug testing for 12 weeks. But he ain't made the people about drug testing one time. Why not? If you're the king of the hill, people might try to come at you sideways. So why not be vocal about it? Why not get people to want to step up and do that? You got the power to do that. Whether we got a signed battle agreement or not, he could say, well, I don't care if we've figured out the details yet. You want to fight me, we got to start Vada now. But he ain't made one peep about it. But I have, because I know I'm a clean fighter. But 10 weeks, I'm going to smack the shit out of him anyways. So we got the drug testing in place. I feel like for this fight, you know, everything's going to be handled accordingly. And I'm not here to pick up a check. I'm not here to just be quiet and hand my belt over and let him ride off into the sunset. This is not his Cinderella story. This is my Cinderella story.
Yeah. Along those lines, you guys originally were supposed to fight, you know, obviously like September or whatever, and then all of a sudden the fight fell through. At that point, were there any disappointment? Like, man, this is going to be my dream fight, and now it slipped away. Was there a thought that you wouldn't ever get to this point?
It was disappointing, but you know I can't control that. I knew that I did everything I was supposed to do. My end was signed weeks before that. You know, it was little things that he kept coming back and forth with. And like I said, 6.5 weeks to the fight, and we still don't have even drug testing in place. So it's like,
the truth will always come out. 3 things that can never be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. They will always come out. Breaking news of Canelo Alvarez refusing to take the mandatory 12 weeks Vada drug testing for the Caleb Plant fight. In fact, Caleb Plant revealed the reason why Canelo Alvarez pulled out of the Mexican Independence Day weekend previously, where Caleb and Canelo were supposed to fight in September, was in fact only because of Vada drug testing, where Canelo declined not just 12 weeks of Vada drug testing, but also 10 weeks Vada drug testing, 8 weeks Vada drug testing, and he was trying to get away with only 6 to 4 weeks of Vada drug testing, like he did with Kovalev and Caleb Smith, where Canelo only accepted 4 weeks of Vada drug testing. That's exactly why the fight was canceled back in September. Now, it went from worse to bad because even for the November 6th date, Canelo also declined the 12 weeks mandatory Vada drug testing, yet again, where he threatened to walk out of the fight period. This time around, for the November 6th date. See, for the September date, Canelo was willing to come back to negotiations. The only problem he had to go clean his system of the forbidden fruit a little bit earlier than expected, because Caleb Plant wasn't going to allow Canelo to cheat all the way, because he demanded 12 weeks of Vada drug testing and he stayed firm on it. However, he only managed to get 10 weeks of Vada drug testing out of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo only accepted 10, or he threatened to walk out of the fight forever. Now, if you look at that from the bright side, something is better than nothing. So instead of Canelo cheating all of the way, he's cheating halfway. This is the factual information Caleb Plant provided to Brian Custer on the Last Stand podcast, which I'm going to leave the link for the full interview in the description box below. Now, I hate to tell you all, I told you so, but I told you so. I remember like it was today, when Canelo first pulled out of the Caleb Plant fight for September. After all of his demands were accepted, Caleb Plant came out and said that, I don't know what Canelo is waiting for. He had the contract with everything in it he wanted for 2 weeks now. When are we gonna do drug testing? A few moments later, Canelo Alvarez pulled out of the biggest payday of his career for Undisputed, the fight he wanted, for $40 million plus guaranteed. That's when Canelo Hope Insurance came into play, and old media covered up for the reason why he pulled out. They knew it was because of drug testing, but they told the public it was because of certain particulars in the contract, certain details. However, ironically, the details was the Vada drug testing. I'm telling you, that Hope Insurance is better than Geico. It's truly fully covered. So I took it upon myself to report the truth, like always, which I'ma leave the link for that video in the comment section below. Now, would you believe that video in particular received more dislikes than likes, even though everything that I said in that video was a fact. And when you speak the truth, it's so powerful because everything I mentioned in that video turned out to be true. As you all heard, Caleb Plant co-signed everything that was said in that video that I made months ago. So to all of the Canelo fans, can you guys, please stop making me feel like a prophet. Thanks to you decafs who are as dumb as you look, y'all making reporting the truth seem like a prophecy, when all I'm doing is putting the whole absolute truth together like puzzle every single time I report. That's what us new media do, which is exactly why you will never find a decaf in the comment section of this video or any other video point out exactly what I said they disagree with. Instead, you only see them troll and trash talk because they can't bring their emotional opinion to the table when I'm bringing nothing but facts. Facts always trump opinions. And it's a fact that Canelo is a cheater, hate it or love it. It's a fact Canelo took steroids. So hate it or love it, that's not going to change any of the facts. They will always remain the same. Furthermore, to all of the Canelo fans, why did Canelo Alvarez turn down the mandatory time for Vada drug testing of 12 weeks if he is actually clean? Why? If you're clean, you take the test, not threaten to walk out of the fight. That's the biggest admission of guilt you can actually get. With that move, Canelo told the boxing world and Caleb Plant, "Oh, well, I'm not done cycling off steroids yet. And I can't get the benefits if I have to clean my system 12 weeks before the fight. But I can get the benefits of the PEDs if I only have to clean my system 10 weeks before the actual fight." That's pretty much what Canelo admitted by refusing to take the 12 weeks Vada drug testing. That's similar to when Manny Pacquiao wanted a cutoff date when it came to Olympic-style drug testing against Floyd Mayweather. More importantly, here is an expert when it comes to steroids and PEDs. Speaking on the subject, Victor Conti said, quote, "Most in boxing fail to realize that speed and power gains made training on PEDs can carry over for many months. If testing starts on a known date, then a boxer could use for 6 months, then taper off and test clean for an 8-week camp. Still huge benefits to the fighter on fight night." End of the quote. Which is my point exactly. This is why Canelo refused 12 weeks of Vada drug testing. The proof is in the pudding. We talking about a pound for pound cheater here who tested positive for steroids already. Then they increased the combuterol limit so Canelo could cheat legally. In other words, Canelo is most likely on something way more powerful and effective than combuterol. Remember, Canelo lied and claimed he got combuterol from contaminated meat. Come to find out, that was a lie, just like Oscar Valdez's herbal tea lie, since in the contaminated meat, there are actually 2 types of steroids in the contaminated meat, not just one, combuterol. Contaminated meat contains 2 types of steroids in Mexico. So, if Canelo did eat contaminated meat, how come he only got busted for combuterol? What happened to the second steroids that's found in the contaminated meat? Obviously, Canelo's excuse is more shameful than him actually cheating. He couldn't come up with a better excuse. It's not a coincidence that 4 fighters in Canelo camp tested positive for PEDs. You see Andy Ruiz losing mad weight when he don't even have a fight coming up. You see, Ryan Garcia, he accepts to fight only a month before his actual fight date. He's supposed to fight in November, and it's nearly October. However, he's still negotiating to this day. Last but not least, if anyone was going to be able to force Canelo to do the mandatory time for Vada drug testing of 12 weeks, then it would have been Caleb Plant, because Canelo was desperate for this fight. That's why I wish Caleb Plant would have put it all on the line in order to put this fight on an even playing field by forcing a 12 weeks Vada drug testing. He was in a perfect position to do so, but I don't think Caleb Plant realized the powerful position he was in. Now he have to settle with fighting the roid rage Canelo Alvarez. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, subscribe below, and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, TV. Peace, and I'm on to the next one.
For
It's not
PEDs.
accusations.
Right. He's been busted for PEDs. He had to serve 6 months.
Yeah.
His trainer, obviously, has been with him the whole time. Oscar Valdez got popped. He can.
And Vada too, or whatever his name is.
Never exactly. You've been adamant about speaking that, and it's not a lot of people do that. Tell me why you felt the need to be so vocal. There's not a lot of guys who would.
Because there's no room for that in our sport. And, it's like he was saying, I think Caleb Plant's insecure, but is testing positive for a banned substance, is that insecure? Is taking banned substances, isn't that insecure? Because taking banned substances doesn't stem from confidence. That stems from fear. Fear of not making weight, fear of, your conditioning being this or your power being this. It doesn't stem from what you think you can do. It stems from what you think you can't do, right? That's what banned substances stem from. That's why you take them. And I'm a clean fighter, and I know that in my heart, and I've always been a clean fighter, and I'll always be a clean fighter. I'm not a cheater.